Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys having a great day. And above all else, that you're indeed looking after yourselves and one another, because that is what's most important, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, we are back, Ken and I. Before I get into the topic of another informative, entertaining episode, Ken, how the hell are you?
I'm doing pretty darn good, Armando. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Excellent.
Doing well. Still got snow on the ground. Doing well, you know. More to come, unfortunately. Ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten together here for an album discussion. Okay. Now, I'll give you the information here. We're going to be talking about the band The Fixx and their debut release, Shuttered Room. Fixx, pop new wave band from the UK, from England. They're considered to be a part of the new romantic scene at the time. Other bands like Spandau Ballet, Duran Duran, etc. Shuttered Room is the Fix's debut release, released originally on May 14th, 1982 through MCA Records. The album was produced by famed producer Rupert Hine, who would go on to produce many of their albums. Rupert Hine also produced albums for bands such as Stevie Nicks, Saga, 8 Seconds, just to name three of those artists that he worked with. Shuttered Room has a total playing time of 38 minutes and 45 seconds. There were four singles released from the album between the various territories that the album was released in. Those singles being Lost Plains, Some People, Stand No Fall, my personal favorite, and Red Skies. Playing on the album, we have, as I go through my notes here, because I'm old, I need me notes here. We have Cy Kernan on lead vocals, excuse me, Adam Woods on percussion and drums, Rupert Greenall on keyboards, Jamie West Oram on guitars, wonderful guitars, and Charlie Barrett on bass. Now, this was pretty much an idea of Ken's that we're going to discuss this album. I know the Fix, I know of some of their albums. The most recent release is from 2022 called Every 5 Seconds. Now, Ken, you said that you have a fondness for this album. Can you tell me your history with this album and why, to you, this album has such a hold on you, as it were?
Yeah. 1982, the album released. I'm not sure what the original air date was for the videos on MTV at the time.
Hmm.
I discovered this album in 1983 um, from the video Stand or Fall. And
Hmm.
that song sonically just grabbed my attention. That doesn't happen a lot, but it sure did. It sure did. And so it wasn't long before I tracked the vinyl down and bought it. Um, the '80s were a real interesting time for music in many ways. There were a lot of you mentioned a lot of the other bands that the Fixx were categorized with. I just really, it's one of those albums that I just bought and I just played it over and over again. I recorded it on cassette and walked around with it in my Sony Walkman, on campus. Just
Hmm.
listened to it, a lot. There's several things about it really catches me. I mean, Rupert Hines' production, I think, is just so good on this.
Oh, it's impeccable. It's
You
impeccable.
mentioned those artists. We could also add to that list Rush,
Yes.
uh, Camel, Howard Jones, Saga, Suzanne Vega, Thompson Twins. He is not a producer, I think, that many people or your average person would recognize
Yeah.
as a name
Yeah.
for production, At the time, maybe so, but definitely not now. And his credits run real deep for a lot of artists, and he did some albums himself too.
Yes, he
So
also worked with Krista Berg.
yes, yes,
Yes.
Bob Geldof and Tina Turner and all those. But anyway, one of the things that I really like about this album is Jamie West Storm's guitar sound. I
Yeah.
always thought basically that it was a Fender Stratocaster with a whammy bar,
Hmm.
uh, but it's a different brand, a guitar company called Eternal Guitar. He had it custom made,
Hmm.
but it's still. I mean, it looks like a Fender, and it sounds like a Fender.
Yeah.
The thing that I watched, there's a video on YouTube where he talks about his guitar and the guitar sound. And the thing that part of what really caught me about his guitar playing here is that it's a lot of it, or most of it, is a clean guitar sound. In other words, not driven, not the distorted driven guitar. And sometimes he uses um, uh, some phase on it, a little bit of effects on it. Oftentimes he doesn't, and the way that he has that tone, that
Yeah.
guitar tone, especially the way he uses the whammy bar, um, just really does stand out for me. I'm always interested in really good guitar playing with a clean tone because the heavy metal, super driven sound. Um, Whereas I think many of the guitarists, professional guitarists that play that way, are excellent. They have excellent technique. However, having played guitar for a long time myself, um, I know that you know that driven sound and various effects or pedals and whatever can really cover a multitude of sins, as they say. It's easy to fudge on it, just those big old chunky power chords and whatever.
Yeah.
And you can't get away with that with a clean guitar sound. And so, not only did I like the guitar sound, the way the song arrangements on this primarily between him and Rupert Grinnell, the synthesizer player, keyboards,
Yeah.
um, they really do complement one another very well.
Hmm.
There is a little bit of overlap on some things, particularly the last track of the album. Um, but they don't sacrifice guitar for overwhelming electronics
Yeah.
or vice versa. And I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say, for an album that is listed as new wave, um, synth pop, this is more guitar driven.
It is. Yeah.
Not overly so, not to the
Mm-mm.
detriment of the
Mm-mm.
music, but very much guitar driven
Yeah, it's
tracks,
that
which,
balance between the two that
yeah,
I really do appreciate. Um, it's now 1982, new wave. The songs are tempo wise are pretty driven in this. Yeah, I mean, you listen to this and it's okay. That's the 80s. It definitely has that, but for me, not in a bad way.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for example, like the lead off track, I Found You. And ladies and gentlemen, I was remiss in saying this. We are looking at the US album running order because various territories had different running orders for the sequence of the album. We are looking at the US sequenced running order for the album, and it starts off with "I Found You." Now that I've back to our regular schedule program, um, the the lead off track is very much. it's a very frenetic energy. Like it's very sort of like jittery, like very fast tempo, like fast paced song. Very very much new wave, a la like Devo, kind of like stuff
Yeah.
like that kind of prominent vocals, short and sharp and to the point kind of thing, like but well done. It's not a
Yeah.
criticism. I don't.
No,
It's a
it's
nice
it's
critique.
yeah,
So
and it's a great opener.
yeah,
It really does set the mood. And even then, it's not the most up tempo song on the album. So the best is yet to come.
yeah,
The thing about this album that you don't get, or one might not get right offhand, it's a dark album.
it is. It is.
Contextually, that is, within the lyrics. But one might not get that because it's very catchy, wonderful hooks, both instrumentally and melodically. Um, and
Years.
and Cy Kernan's vocals are just amazing here. He does not hold back. This isn't this isn't just that standard sterile, dry electronic music of the 80s of some bands that I won't mention by name. But it's very, like I said, it's very melodic. Um, hooks within the vocal melodies, the guitar, the synths. Um, and if you're looking for Geddy Lee or um, level bass playing, you're not going to get that here. However, what Charlie Barrett does with the bass on this album
Yeah,
fits and really services the songs very, very well. As does Adam Woods on drums. A
yeah,
very good rhythm section here.
yeah. They're the backbone of this group
Oh, yeah.
on this album. They're the ones that keep the music moving and
Hmm.
just keep it going forward. And a very good, strong, prominent bass playing on this album.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
good free. I was saying in another video that a good amount of time, the bass tends to get buried in the mix.
it does.
The bass player is just responsible for keeping time and keeping the music going, and as they should, whatever. But on this album, the bass is prominent in the mix. You can pick it up easily, especially on songs like "Stand or Fall."
Interfall. Yeah.
Um, and the drums are just like prominent. They're not flat. They're not
Yeah.
like
That's what, yeah. The
yeah,
rhythm section is what does most of the driving on these songs.
yeah,
Um, even though the guitar does also. But the thing about it is with a strong rhythm section like that, it frees up the other instruments, and that's what it does here. It frees up the keyboards and frees up the guitar. Um, yeah, just four instruments, one guitarist, one keyboard, which is a lot of the bands of this time, new wave, they had multiple keyboard players
yeah,
and some with no guitar at all. So
yeah.
there it is. And I think it's great that if I'm not mistaken, the current lineup in the band is exactly the same as it is on this album this
Okay,
many years later, and
yeah.
they're still going strong. I think I may have heard their the that last album that you mentioned.
Every
Uh,
5 seconds, yeah.
every 5 seconds, I believe so. But if it's the one I'm thinking of, it stands up pretty well. I mean, Psy's vocals are not quite as strong, but there again, age does that to a person.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you were mentioning him, just now on this album about his vocal delivery. He has a soaring vocal range
Yeah,
on this album. It it
absolutely.
it travels, man. It's
Hmm.
very strong, very sort of very rich and thick, very distinctive.
Yeah.
and in
Yeah,
his delivery. Um, but yeah, no, and you're right. After a certain amount of time performing, performing, you're gonna get a bit of possibly a bit
hmm,
of a loss in the quality of your range in terms of
sure.
your yeah, in terms of your ability to deliver like you used to.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you. Stand or Fall, um, it's an outstanding song.
well,
There's a reason why it stuck out when I saw the and heard the video.
well,
Um,
I mean, even okay, we'll get into the album. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
no, no, that's
but
fine.
we can get into the album again. It starts off with "I Found You," as we said, really sort of um, upbeat, frenetic, new wave with a bit of a punk sensibility to it. Short and to the point. Really sort of curt lyrics, the way they're delivered, kind of thing. Great. Then it goes into the next track, "Some People," which to me has a sort of new wave art pop sensibility.
Yeah,
Really guitar driven. You know, "Stand or Fall," the standout track for me on this album. And I'll get your view on this. I have in my notes haunting guitar chords on the intro.
yeah.
Great synth passage, strong bass, a lot of good memorable guitar passages on this piece. You know,
This, and this is what I really like about a good guitar player slash songwriter. What catches your attention at the very beginning are those two guitar chords. An example of when less is more,
yeah,
because you hear that ting ting, and then it's a lot of space in the sound, and allow that bass to come out with those four notes.
yeah, that intro, yeah,
And then you've got the a slight ethereal sustained keyboard in the background.
yeah,
It's not too strong,
yeah,
and when it does actually break into the verse with the vocals, it's full band, and there you again, you've got that unrelenting, a simple, unrelenting bass line
yeah.
running through it.
Just keeps
Just this
going.
two note pattern.
And even the lyric for the song, I mean, if you survive, don't do as we did. I mean, it was like I'm listening to that going, oh my God. They're talking about a fallout in a war, kind of like surviving a war. If you survive, don't do as we did.
Some
Take
sort of catastrophe.
Yeah, don't let the past repeat. Just learn from our mistakes and go forward. That is not your typical pop music folly kind of thing in terms of topic.
Yeah.
I mean, your take on that?
Oh no, you're absolutely right. I mean, just the title, Stand or Fall.
State your
At
case
some point
tonight. Yeah,
you gotta make a stand.
yeah. It's
If you
and
don't, then it's necessary.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, but like I said, even if you're not listening to the lyrics and listening to it on that level, it's
mhm.
just catchy as heck.
Oh yeah,
Just incredibly catchy.
yeah,
And yeah, it's on first listen you might not realize how dark the album is because it goes right into the strain, the
yeah,
song, the strain. Even darker and moodier in theme. It's got another driven bass line. Um, the lyrics suggest uh, daily pressure, psychological stress,
yeah,
um, to really continue and to anchor almost an overall dystopian mood to the album.
yeah.
Um,
Also,
and I pick up on that, but it's not. Strangely enough, the album is not a downer for me. It's weird.
yeah. I was just gonna say, to me, even the track "The Strain," there are some synth elements that to me are reminiscent of the Cars.
Yes,
Like "Let's Go" and
yes.
but yeah, I'm not sure if I was wrong in picking that out, but that's what I hear. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you have Red Skies
Uh,
with the repair. In my notes, I have your repetitive
yeah.
guitar chords on the intro, a nice building of synths, and again, there's that bass that comes in, just
Yep.
really prominent bass. That's like it's wonderfully done, wonderfully recorded, just like beautiful, just wonderful.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's got a almost a hypnotic groove to it
yeah,
as it goes through. And another dark apocalyptic imagery goes through, whether it's environmental or war or whatever, depending on one's interpretation to it.
hmm
And uh, I love the guitar break in the middle. It's just a four note run, but it builds in intensity. They pull the song back, they give it air to breathe, and that guitar just starts and it just builds into a great crescendo, um, which I guess could be analogous to some sort of nuclear explosion. I don't know. I never really thought of it that way. I'm just
yeah,
listening to that wonderful guitar part.
yeah.
Um, Simple
But
and
yeah,
effective.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because, and then we'll get into the rest of the album. But I'm noticing there's a lot of breathing room here
Mhm.
in terms of the playing. There's a lot of space in the playing. It's not all like, compressed together and instruments are fighting, to sort of get attention within the music. There's a lot of breathing room, a lot of eeriness too, in terms
Yes,
of very
yes,
atmospheric.
yes,
Atmospheric. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, and
that's
and
the
it's interesting because the bands at the time, with all the new synthesizer, here I go again,
synthesizers.
technology and everything, they're usually filling
Yeah.
every bit of space.
Yeah.
But even with the guitar and this wonderful electronic keyboards, I'll just say that because I can't say the other word. Um, it's they still retain the space in the
Yeah.
music, um, to wonderful effect.
Yeah.
There again, you know, less is more. And there
Exactly.
again, also the balance between keyboard and guitar. I never feel like one is stepping on the toes of the other.
That's
No,
right.
no feeling of competition.
That's
Uh,
right. There's room for everybody. Like all the
yeah, yeah,
instrumentation is
yeah.
just strategically placed just so. And side two starts off with Lost Plains, another the first single from the album in the UK. You know, different territories had different singles released at different times. So, with Lost Plains, in my notes, I have a regimented guitar. What I'm hearing is regimented guitar on the intro, uh, rhythmic percussion, and again, strong snare drum sound.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
um, and it's got to be said too. A lot of these songs, ladies and gentlemen, are 3 minutes plus to I think maximum 5 minutes. They're not very long. So with regards to playing time, I always say perfect for LP, too short for CD. So I mean, that's why extra tracks come in, bonus tracks, But no, yeah, just wonderfully done though, wonderfully recorded. Um,
Yeah, Lost Plains is one in particular, to me, that leaves those open spaces in the song
yeah,
to let the parts breathe, um and it and from the beginning to the end, the song just gradually builds. There's this incessant build throughout the song,
hmm
rather than just you know staying at one dynamic. So yeah, I think it's a brilliant arrangement. Great
yeah,
song.
okay. And up next we have sorry, Cameras in Paris. I'm hearing David Bowie-esque vocals on the intro, very sort of shades of Bowie on his vocal delivery to me. I
Yep.
don't know if that's just me.
A little
Uh,
bit of Berlin in there.
yeah,
Uh, it's very It's very atmospheric. You know, you were talking about the eeriness, you know,
Yeah,
and the feeling, very atmospheric, with a slightly romantic European feel. I think of Ultravox in Vienna kind of feel. You
very
think
much
about
so.
that video, it's very cinematic. And to me, I close my eyes and I envision a black and white noir spy film.
Yeah,
Casablanca, as we bring up quite often here.
yeah. Well, I do
Um,
that. I do definitely, but yeah, I
yeah,
get that. I get that. I get that.
oh, yeah.
Hmm.
I started to mark which songs I like best in my notes,
Okay.
and as I got to song number nine, I figured, oh well, I like them all.
okay. Well, I
I
mean,
think this album is one that I listed in our um,
yeah.
perfect album season
You
session.
you you did. You
I
did.
think I did.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you did. Okay. Well, let's backtrack this for a second here.
Okay.
Not to belabor the point, but you basically are saying that to you, all 10 tracks are, you know, are amazing. What is it about these songs or about this album that out of all of what was coming out in 1982, you had, the New Romantics, you had New Wave, you had, ska. What was, what about this album grabbed you, you know, and just said, this is for me? Like,
Primary the Sonics, like I said, the guitar sound
mhm,
of his playing, um, the way, again, the juxtaposition between the guitar and the keyboards.
yeah,
Um, I love Kernan's voice. It's not the best voice one ever heard, but you know he does a fantastic job here. I mean, this is better than a lot of singers in these bands at the day, and there were some pretty darn good singers
yeah.
in the '80s for in the romantic movement.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, I bought the album based on the one song. This is not a concept album, but there is this one solid theme that's running through everything. You know, like I said, it's dark through and through.
Hmm.
Uh, it is a little bit, uh, one might say, apocalyptic. It Everything kind
Heavy.
of feeds into one another.
Yeah.
You know, unlike their next album, which is um, excellent also, but it's much more commercial than this one.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
you're referring to Reach the Beach.
Reach
Okay.
the Beach, yeah, in the
Yeah.
following year.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Well, I mean, let's tackle the last three songs on the album
yeah,
inside too.
yeah,
We have I Live at 4 minutes and 52 seconds. Uh, again, for me, prominent bass, nice building synths on this. Again, atmospheric keyboards coming in. Uh, in my notes, I have here an ass shaker of a track.
yes, more straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, nice guitar passage on the bridge section that comes in that I'm hearing. I may be wrong,
Mhm.
but again, the next few songs like we have "I Live," uh, title track, "Shuttered Room," the shortest track at 2 minutes and 46 seconds, and "The Fool." At 5 minutes and 20 seconds. These three songs as an album closer. What is your view on these three tracks?
Yeah, I mean, I live. It's more of a straightforward rock drive to it. The rhythm section uh, just continues to push harder in this song.
Hmm.
Um, and the lyrics, I live. It's about all I can say. I breathe nearly every day. It's for me. It's taking those dark themes from the other and it's internalizing it.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, this is the guy in this. um, scenario or world of the album that's sharing how he is maybe dealing with all of these circumstances going on around him.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and let's face it, sometimes that's just so it's, hey man, how you doing? And all this stuff's going on. It's like, and you say, well, I'm still here. You know, sometimes
I
that's the
know.
best you can say, and
I
it's
know. I
better
know.
than the alternative. Shuttered Room. Oh gosh, this is the most frantic in tempo of all the songs on the album.
Yeah.
To me, there are feelings of desperation here. Um, it's definitely one of the most atmospheric pieces of the album for sure.
Yeah.
I think possibly the metaphor of the shuttered room um, is suggesting isolation, maybe emotional isolation or confinement.
Okay.
Um, and it's reinforced with some somewhat sparse instrumentation and those echoing keyboard parts.
Hmm.
So there is, you could see like in those the various 80s video of someone, bouncing against the wall or, trying to break out of a cage or, a
Yeah.
padded room or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, this is, one of the more emotional songs. I think the music definitely reflects what's going on in the music and vice versa.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, that's essential in good songwriting.
Yeah.
For me, when
Yeah.
they're both working together. The Fool, yeah, this is the longest track on the album. This almost,
5 minutes and
talk
20
about
seconds. Yeah.
the driven rhythm section. This is got a very incessant, an unrelenting rhythmic pattern, almost like a loop going on
Yeah.
between the instruments. But it's very very simple though.
Mm.
This 8 note pattern, this 8 beat pattern that just goes, and there again, it's throughout the song, yet it leaves a lot of breath, a lot of air, a lot of space in the song to really to be able to, for the singer especially, to be able to really communicate the lyrics. Um, and the title says it all. The fool. I'm the fool.
Yeah. It's almost like you were saying, this album is almost has a theme to it where throughout the album, the individual, the character in the album, is going through all these experiences and emotions. And at the very end, with the song The Fool, it, it's kind of like a resignation of,
Mhm.
okay, I've accepted this is my fate, this is who I am, and this is what I need to do in life. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like in terms
yeah,
of I accept defeat, or I accept humility, or I accept this, and I'll go on from here
yeah.
as this being my fate in life, my lot in life, as it were.
Mhm.
In my notes I have here, as you said, the song is the longest song on the album, 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Great guitar effects with a nice steady beat on the intro. To me, I hear a simmering music with tension
Yes,
that's happening in the song.
yes,
And then, again, the synths gradually building in until like at 3 minutes and 3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, the band just come in full throttle and just go for it. Like they just finish out the song. And again, nice thick guitar tone on the solo.
Mhm.
You know, Jamie West Oren's guitar work is just exemplary. It is amazing on this, as with all Fixx albums. So
Yeah.
yeah, to me, this isn't your standard pop fare in terms of, you know, I,
I don't think so. Yeah.
I've referred to Tears for Fears as thinking man's pop. I would put the Fixx with Tears for Fears in
Yes,
the category of thinking man's pop
I
because
would too. Yeah,
yeah, because it isn't just okay. I meet you, I met this girl. We're gonna, we're gonna court. We're gonna go off and do whatever. And it's like, no, this is deep, man. This is like apocalyptic in nature and
yeah,
themes and
yeah,
what are we gonna do to survive? I mean, like, oh my
yeah.
God.
Will we survive?
Yeah,
You
can
know?
we?
Yeah,
Can we survive? I mean, like, oh my God. Yeah. And it's interesting because the Fix have always been a band for me that I've just sort of, how can I put this? Been there in the background,
yeah.
releasing albums. You know, this is a first album was a mediocre hit. The next album, Reach the Beach, was a massive hit. But then you had Phantoms and then Walkabout
Talk
and
about.
then Ink in 91. They were a band that they just kept plodding along, just kept going and didn't wait for the I mean, it would have been great to have, the successes and the hit
Sure.
singles, but they just pushed along and just kept going. And, you know, what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think so too. You think about bands of the time like ABC and all these others. There's uh there's a real upbeatness about them.
Yeah,
There's a sense of um that there's going to be three different 12-inch singles that are going to be playing in the discotheques and stuff like that.
yeah,
Don't see that with these guys. And chances are them being a British group um, might have um, been able to take advantage of the European market
hmm,
as far as touring and stuff more than they did over here in the States and Canada,
yeah,
um, because the markets are a little bit more varied as far as audience,
yeah,
um, and would just allowed for the smaller bands to really be able to tour and make a living. And what I find interesting is and like you say, the Reach the Beach was very successful for the record company, and that's all they care about.
yeah,
Um,
pretty
um,
much.
I'm a little bit curious about. Um, I unfortunately I didn't look to see the different labels that Reach the Beach. I mean that the Fixx were on. What
They recorded for MCA and RCA uh,
throughout?
between 82 and 91. I believe Ink with the single How Much Is Enough, my favorite
Yeah.
song from the album. Um,
Okay, for the record
I,
company
yeah,
to still put out their records. Um, Now I don't know what the situation is now because the first, especially the first three albums, are out of print. Um, you can get used copies online. That's not a
yeah,
problem.
yeah. You can go to
But they're
Discogs
they're
or
not on they're not on most streaming services. So
yeah,
I'm not
which is
really quite sure who has the rights and why they're not. The early albums aren't available. They're not making them available.
well, there was a reissue of Shuttered Room on Repertoire Records at
Oh,
one point, um, with additional tracks. But yeah, I don't understand why this album, along with Reach the Beach, etc., and Walkabout and Phantoms, isn't widely available. I mean, you can listen to these albums on YouTube, but for streaming purposes. But it's a shame that they're not available because this is good music.
yeah,
This is top-notch music. This isn't, again, there's just something different about the quality and the musicianship on these albums that today it cannot be, in terms of the pop realm
Yeah,
genre, can't be matched.
yeah.
Can't be matched whatsoever. So I
Because in the 80s, with the romantic, you either had in the electronic music, you either had, a bank of electronic keyboards and this cold, machine sound,
yeah,
or you had the super romantic bands with, saxophone and, stuff like that.
yeah.
And this is much more straightforward um, of what came out of the late 70s,
I
with
would
the
put
exception of some keyboards. I mean, to me, this album feels like it's a bridge between late 70s post-punk
yeah,
and the polished 80s new wave.
I would dare say that this album is more rock oriented than pop oriented,
Yeah, I think so too. And
with
that would
a
and that would appeal to my sensibilities for
with a
sure.
heavy dose of rhythmic sensibility to it, like with the drums, because the drums are prominent. They are up there in the
Yeah,
mix. They are not, buried in the mix. But I think this is, yeah, I think you're right. I think this reminiscent of what was coming out late 70s into the early 80s. And this is a good representation of that.
yeah. And I think they made the right move in the way they went into the next year with Shuttered. I mean, with Reach the Beach. They took it, they put a little bit of a different spin on it. They didn't compromise what they were doing musically, but it resonated more commercially because Reach
Yeah,
the Beach, the playing and the songwriting is fantastic.
yeah.
It's just not quite so, Mad Max
Oriented. Yeah,
music.
okay. I get that. I get that. Well, I mean, one thing leads to another was a massive hit.
Sure.
It was a massive
Oh
hit.
yeah.
But I mean, in closing, for me, the Fixx were one of those bands, or are one of those bands that they come out with an album that hits, and then, like, say, the next two are like modest hits, and then one that maybe doesn't hit, and then they'll come back with another one that might be a hit again. So, like, I remember Walkabout coming out in '87 with the song, my favorite song, Secret Separation,
Yeah,
on it. And when I hear that song, I cry. I tear up.
I get it.
I tear up because I'm an odd bird, ladies and gentlemen. I listen to the lyrics, and it's like I dissect every single fucking thing that comes out of that speaker. And it's like, for example, in that song, he's saying, "We can't be together right now. We can't be together possibly ever again. I'll meet you in another life,
Yeah.
but I need to leave you, but I'll take with me the sweetest memory of you that I'll ever know." It's like, oh my,
Yeah.
like tissue anybody? Like, what the
Yeah.
hell, man?
Yeah.
It is thinking man's pop. This is not like, this is not your typical, like, hold me now, Thompson twins kind of thing. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but it isn't. They were on another level from the
I think
very
so.
beginning. From the very beginning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. A wonderful, if not uh, sidetracked discussion on,
Yeah, we'd never
on
do that.
oh no, never, on the Fixx with Shuttered Room, their debut release from 1982, released through MCA Records. Please put down in the comments below
Please.
your opinion of this album. Is this band actually thinking man's pop, or have we missed the boat completely? Please let us know. We want to know. And here's another question for you. I'm going to ask this on some of the episodes. I personally think, and I would imagine you think too, Ken, that the running order of the track listing is perfect. Would you change it? And if so, how would you? Let us
Yeah.
know in the comments below.
Yeah.
All right? No right or wrong answers, just opinion. Okay?
Nope.
I want to thank Kent for joining me on this interesting, insightful episode on the Fixx Shuttered Room. And we will be back with more episodes. We are working on a episode with Bill Schuster, a series of episodes we hopefully will be called Outlaws in the Hills, where Bill is going to be talking about country rock, one of his favorite music genres. Bill's a really eclectic individual musically. He's going to be taking the reins on that, especially from the list of albums he gave me to listen to, believe me. And Ken's going to join us on that episode. We are going to be also doing another album discussion on Union from Yes. Is this a unified release or is this a disjointed release? When when we go into that. And we're also going to be doing another episode of Acoustic Corner on Saga with their 2021 release Symmetry from Inside Out Music. That's coming up. I'm looking forward to that. Again, please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Keep yourselves on top of any new content we got coming up. We are now on X, so please follow us on X, and we will see you soon again on the Music Den. For Ken, I'm Armando signing off. Have a great day. Bye for now.